Welcome to the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and digital transformation, with your host, Peggy Smedley.
Hello and welcome to CES 2020. I'm your host, Peggy Smedley of the Peggy Smedley Show, and we are coming to you live on day 2. And right now, I am sitting with Darren Lee of Monique. Darren, welcome to the show.
Hi, Peggy. Thank you for having me.
So, Darren, you've got some products. I'm really excited for you to tell everyone what they are. But before we even get to that, tell me about before the show. You and I were sitting here and just talking about what your days have been here already. It's only day 2, but you're exhausted already. And if you are exhausted, what is that going to be like getting through the entire rest of the week?
Well, I think it's just our excitement about the product, our product, right? We're really excited to be here. We have a lot of confidence. So even though we're physically tired, we're mentally here, just doing our full on to try keep going, keep the train rolling.
What's exciting about what you're doing right now is to show what things are happening. We're going to talk about the technology that you have is monitoring diapers. You have a sensor that's actually monitoring children diapers and then adult diapers. You know, I've talked about this a couple times on my show. You guys probably don't even know this, that I've talked about the adult diapers because I've actually joked about why would we want to monitor our adult diapers? But the need is growing. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit because it's interesting. We think about there, and I think the numbers that I've seen, it's up to over 50 million already adults that we have that have this need, and it's growing because we have an aging population. But we almost forget we start out as children and then we age, and it's a cycle of life.
Right.
But you've seen it already just by walking around. You were telling me before the show as well, is you had a baby, a fake baby walking around, and people have come up to you and say, what are you doing? What do you talk about the product you have already so our viewers can understand what you're doing, because the technology is really incredible just from doing it from what you're doing for a child's diaper.
Right, so we actually started with a child's diaper. And
Let's show us this
so right here. So this is our Monique baby diaper sensor. So it comes with a small chip about this big that fits right into the slot, okay, like this. And so this will just go ahead and attach right onto the front of the baby's diaper to detect whether they have gone pee or poo. We have also a couple of different sensors inside that detect movement, humidity, gases, things like that. So when the baby goes, we know, right? And it'll
it sounds funny. When the baby goes, we know.
We do know, though. It'll send you a notification onto your phone, right? Sounds kind of funny, but you literally get a poop alert, right, or a pee alert. Right?
There you go. Poop or pee alert. That's like, I've never thought we would say sensors are giving us those kind of alerts, but they are, right?
And it's funny because people are like, oh, why do I need to know when my baby goes poo or pee? I could just, check. But not only does this detect poo or pee, we have other different sensors like movement and the ones that I just mentioned, that if your baby is sleeping or something like that and if your baby starts moving abnormally, then you know that the baby's awake. It'll send you an alert to your phone, so you also know when your baby's awake, right?
Don't we normally know because they're screaming? Right. I mean,
You do, right? But it'll give you that ease of mind that even if they're out of sight or hearing, you know confidently that they are awake and they're doing something about it. But as you were talking about earlier, we started with this product at the baby level, but then we realized that there was a growing need for elderly care, right? Elderly care is a growing community, like you just said. I think the metric's something like in the next 40 years, it's going to more than double, right? The
That's crazy, right? To think the elderly care number is going to double like that.
And so we need to take care of our elderly folks. I mean, it's going to be my grandma, grandpa. It's going to be us someday. It's going to be our kids someday.
We're not going to age.
Well,
no, we're going to, they're going to find a way to keep us young again, right?
And so when we get to that stage in life, we become a little bit more fragile, a little bit more vulnerable. And so the example that I always give is if a baby gets a diaper rash, right? Generally, you just throw some baby powder on there, they'll heal and get better. When an adult or an elderly person gets a diaper rash in that frail condition, it just exacerbates so many other problems, right? You get infections, you get urinary tract infections, you get maybe like sepsis or even dermatitis, right, due to being in a soiled diaper. So exacerbating this condition in elderly folks can lead to more serious problems, and which is why we're tackling that right now.
So I have to ask, what inspired your CEO, you guys, to come up with this idea, to come up with a sensor for monitoring diapers?
I think it just came plain and simple with the baby one. It was very clear. It's just care and comfort, right? Just something that will make a parenting easier. That's like our statement is making parenting easier. So all of our products in each of our lines are designed specifically to make parenting an easier task, right? And I know we've done it traditionally for a long time, right? People are always like, oh, but back in my day we used to, but what's the point of technology? To advance, to make it easier, to make it more convenient, so you have more time to do other things that may be more important, right?
And when you think about this, so you started with the child diaper, and then you thought, let's go on, because right now, how long you're delivering right now the child diaper?
Yeah,
people can go and get
this
that.
child diaper is actually available on the U.S. and Asian markets. We've already sold over 8,000 units in Korea and Japan combined, right? It's on the American market. You can buy it right now on our website at.
What's the cost for?
So this is
like
$239.
Okay.
Right.
So $239. You're monitoring that. You're able to track it. And what's the response been to that? What if people are saying, when they're doing this?
I mean, this response has been great. Everyone's paying attention at the very least, right? Why do I need this diaper? We're out here saying that, sure, it'll make your life easier to other things, but that's your choice whether to use that or not. But as far as the elderly care diapers, that's what we're really pushing in terms of necessity, right? As you get to that age, like we said, things get a little bit more hairy when it comes to things like health and things like safety and preventative care, right?
How is the technology actually working? I understand the sensors, but walk me through how the technology is actually working for the care.
Okay, so within this actual device, we have multiple sensors that detect, like I said earlier, it was humidity, temperature, conductivity. So when it touches things, there's different conductivity there. We have VOC gases, which are volatile organic compounds, which are specifically found and specifically picked for pee and poo. So those compounds exist within the pee and poo, so this will detect it and know if it is pee and poo. The last one we do is movement, excuse me. And so combining those with our pattern learning algorithm, we can pair these together and combine these different sensors to provide accurate information on not just pee and poo, but like I said earlier, movement, such as falls, right? The way that they're leaning in bed or the way that they're moving in bed, so that nurses or caretakers can go and move them, because pressure sores are a big problem within the elderly community. And now we could actually have a tracker to see, okay, this person's been in this position for this X amount of time.
Who are you partnering with to make this happen?
So in the last year, we've had partnered with Kimberly-Clark.
Okay.
And with Huggies, right? Moving past that, we're kind of keeping it a little bit secret and discreet, keeping our trade secrets.
Right.
We're working on it, but.
So looking at this, are you hoping to eventually work with nursing homes versus actually working with individuals to try to sell these types of products?
I'm really glad you asked that, because right now we're developing 2 elderly care sensors systems. So one of them is going to be for clinical use, which is going to be, like you said, nursing home, large volume areas of care, right? Which are going to be nursing homes, hospices, possibly even mental health centers, things like that, where people cannot actively express certain conditions, right? Whether they've gone pee or poo, things of that nature.
Somebody has dementia or Alzheimer's,
exactly,
things like that,
right.
That comes to mind. That's what I'm thinking right now.
That's actually 2 of our biggest populations that would need a product like this. The other product is an elderly care system for home use or small family use, right? So this is going to be if you do decide to take care of an elderly person like your grandma or something like that at your house, right? And you want that ease of mind, comfort, and you want to be part of that care, we have a smaller system designed to send notifications to your phone. The clinical system will be a hub-based, right, where you put it in the nursing station, and 10 or however many units will be connected to this hub, and it'll send real-time notification to the nursing system so that the nurses there or the caretakers there can see that and immediately go and change diapers or provide patient care.
How are we talking about getting this availability of this product? Where are we looking at that you'll be introducing that to the market?
So as far as the baby care system goes, like I said, it's already selling in America. It's already on the market. For our future systems, we're looking for large-scale retailers, large groups of nursing homes, possibly even hospital systems, hospital groups, right? And it's going to be a lot of work to get there, But I think that we're very confident that the product will actually sell itself, you know?
So when they sell these, will these then be able to be reusable sensors? As I kind of think about how they'll be, as I look at the way you're doing that, and I'm kind of imagining how that'll work.
Right. So
Walk me through that a little bit.
Let's pretend the mic is a diaper, okay? So it's going to go...
diaper mic here right now.
Diaper mic, okay? So this is going to attach on the outside of the diaper, like so. And because it's on the outside of the diaper, it is not as much at risk of getting contaminated. Of course, there will be a level of contamination, especially within the hospital or clinical community environment. So all of our products are designed to be wiped down with disposable antibacterial wipes. However, we are developing new ways of hygiene. For instance, in our clinical model, the charging system is actually a UV sanitizer. So while it's charging, it'll be sanitizing through UV. We are also, for the at-home elderly care systems, we're developing disposable covers so that, you know, even if you don't have that large-scale hub with the UV sanitation, you can at least put a disposable cover on it without sacrificing the working of the product.
So will that be price-wise very similar to what you're doing with the child diaper?
You know what? Actually, I actually believe that the elderly care is going to be priced better than this child monitor, right? We realize that we don't want to take, our company doesn't want to make an additional cost for these patients, right? We're all for patient advocacy. We're all here to make everyone's life a little bit better, right? And so as far as pricing goes for the elderly side, we're looking for maybe around $200, $299, $300 for the at-home model. For the clinical model, yet we're still unsure of exactly how many units are going to be included, the scope of how many units need to be included, depending on which facility you're working at. Because a nursing home versus a hospital is a very different setting. Now,
you guys have a couple booths here at CES. Where are you guys located right now?
So right now we're at Sands Hall. We have a booth at G53322, which is going to be our carrier line. And then we have a booth at G5. Oh man, I'm not sure at the top of my head what our booth
But what's your URL? Let's do that.
Our URL?
Yeah, what's your URL? So if somebody's watching, at least can figure out what your URL if they wanted to go up and look at your products.
Oh yeah, so we have goodmonit.com is our diaper sensor URL. And for our baby carrier line, it's going to be bebefit, BEBEFIT.io.
Okay, so that's where people can get. Now, looking at the products you've seen on the floor so far, what's your take on what's happening here? What have you seen so far that's impressed you?
Oh man, that's hard. That's a tough question to ask. It's like every corner that you look here, it's something new, something innovative, right? Not to brag, you know, because
we love to hear
this is a good platform to brag on. When I look around, sometimes you see a lot of similar products. Like, oh, that guy has something, this guy has something. Right, but as far as we go, you know, we do have some competitors, but not that many that are like us, right? And so I feel very special and very unique a little bit with our product because there's not much copies out there.
When you look at technology right now and you see what's happening in adult care and child care and sensor technology overall, do you feel right now there's a lot of opportunity to really help and advance what we need is for, I think when we think about wearables in a sense,
sure.
I don't know if you'd consider this or do you consider this in that wearable market? I'm not quite sure, or how would you classify it?
So I'm going to tie this in with a little bit of my personal experience.
Okay.
So I am a licensed EMT in the state of California.
Okay.
I work critical care transport, interfacility transport, and we're always going to nursing homes. We're always going to hospitals, right? We're spending about 90% of our calls doing these facility transports. And so even within my small brief experience of about a year working that, you could really see the necessity for products like this, right? Where families are concerned about families are concerned about their parents or their loved ones in these homes, that they're not getting the attention that they need, right? And it's nothing against the hospital staff or anything like that. It's just hard to manage every patient like if it was your own, right? And so if you take these small situations where loved ones are in these facilities, this product will not only bring you ease of mind, right? But it'll also bring accountability. It'll bring in a level of responsibility, not only on the nursing side, but also on the family side, right? Because if we're able to track and monitor environmental conditions like temperature, humidity, air quality, right? as a person who has a loved one in a facility like that, we're going to be able to comfortably trust that system, right? And looking around, there's not that much trust right now. You think about healthcare, not a lot of people have confidence in our healthcare.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
Where things like this, the technology that's coming out for patient advocacy, for accountability, will only improve the system, right? And it's a hard step forward. A lot of people like to stay in that traditional mindset, like, oh, manual checking is always the best option. But if we didn't have manual checking, if we could trust this and let this know when we go, right, then think about all the times the nurses will have or the caretakers will have to focus on tasks that are more essential, more beneficial, right? So instead of diaper checking or throwing away diapers that are unused, but they have to throw them away anyway because they checked, that's a waste of time, that's a waste of money, right? And we could be doing things to better patient care.
Do you see this technology possibly connecting to other technologies when you talk about patient care?
Absolutely. So I'm glad you asked that as well, because we're actually developing a secure system to share information, right? I mean, healthcare information is very, very private and it needs to be very secure. So we're developing the secure system to be able to coordinate between people, whether it's your doctor, whether it's another caretaker that's going to take over care, whether it's your family member, right, or authorized individuals, to take the information that we're getting with the sensor, right? So the sensor tracks all these different metrics, but it all compiles them. So the doctor can look at that and see trends, right? How many times is this person going a day? How much volume are they going a day? What position are they sleeping in? How often are they being rotated, right? How, maybe if they're mentally impaired or ailed in some way, are they getting up a lot, right? So with these trends that are all recorded, we can definitely improve patient care.
So in the end, when you look at this, the security of this is also very important. You're making sure that all of patient care is secure when we look at this as well.
Absolutely. I mean HIPAA, everyone
Right.
knows about HIPAA. You can't talk about any personal information, things like that, but we have to make absolutely sure that this information stays secure and only to the people that need it, right? And so we're taking that extra step to develop that kind of security.
Well, I have to tell you, this has been really exciting. Darren Lee, Sales and Marketing Manager for Monit. It's exciting to hear what you're doing and to think about the next generation as we grow older, that you're taking care of it. Thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely.
We wish
Thank you,
you
Peggy.
the best of luck on the show floor at the Sands, and I'm sure you'll be running around whether you're carrying a fake baby on your back or a connected diaper. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, viewers, we are out of time for this segment of the Peggy Smedley Show, but stick around. We've got more to come right here on the Peggy Smedley Show. And if you want to tweet at us, please do it at ConnectedWMag. Remember, with great technology comes great responsibility. We will be right back after this quick break.